Now we're going to talk about a few things that are easily mistaken for one another and quite confusing. There's a couple things in spending and in budgets, one called an earmark and then another called a pork barrel spending. So an earmark is a little bit easier to understand. What it is on paper is when the government passes a bill or passes a budget. An earmark is kind of like a subcategory within that budget. So the textbook definition is a provision or tag inserted into a discretionary spending bill that directs funds to specific recipients or an item or a structure, right? So in simple terms, it's when people tag funds of an already existing bill, sort of like a sub bill. So an example, say there's a Michigan passes a $10 million education bill. That means $10 million goes towards education. Then what people would do inside of that is say, well, 500,000 of it will go to transportation, and then a million of it will go towards new books, and 2 million of it will go towards this and that. So those little subcategories, those tags under it, the more specific things, those are earmarks. But the problem is sometimes we don't always see or have access to what those earmarks are, or they are way deep in a bill that people don't look into it. So an example here on the screen is that there was a $787 billion stimulus package in 2009, in one of the congressional representatives at that time in Florida took 3.4 million of it and made a turtle crossing bridge, right? So they took this stimulus, which is supposed to be for everybody and it's supposed to help the entire community, and tagged or earmarked one portion of it for this bridge. So on paper, it looks like a good thing because you're just dividing that money up equally, but it's pretty easy to get carried away with it and make things that aren't really necessary just because they can. So that's what an earmark is. It's a tag.